Morning. It's Friday, July 10th, and the Supreme Court has issued another, what I will consider, momentous decision. They have ruled on birth control. This decision was not along so-called party lines. It was a 7-2 decision. The court ruled that employers, institutions, corporations, universities, and any other organization will not have to pay for the contraceptive devices of their employees or their students. Now, when I was last employed, I was responsible for the health care insurance that our company carried. And one thing I learned is that there are many variations that you can put into a health care package for your employees. So you can create a family which consists of only 2 people, or you can consider a family a group, and you can get drug abuse counseling. You can get a lot of different things in your health insurance beyond what's mandated under the laws of Obamacare. And it always bothered me that we were responsible for contraceptive care. I felt that if people wanted to indulge in sexual activity, it was their responsibility to take care and to have the proper protection or risk the consequences. Now, after reading this article about the Supreme Court decision, I think I'm changing my mind a little bit, based upon the people who are cheering this decision. And the people who are cheering this decision are the churches, the Catholic Church, for instance, the Jesuit universities, the anti-abortion people. Those are the people who are cheering this decision. So now I'm not so sure that I am against this anymore. Let me say this before I go any further. I am not in favor of abortion as a birth control method, right? Abortion is not contraceptive care. Let me say something else before I get further into this discussion. Just because the courts have ruled that employers are not responsible for contraceptive care, for the payment of it, they can choose to have it in their insurance plans, and they can choose to pick up the costs, or they can choose to have their employees pay the cost in the plan, or they can share the cost. The employee pays 50% and the bosses pay 50%. I mean, there are many ways around this. This is not the end of the world. This doesn't mean that contraceptive care will not be available to people anymore. I did a little research to find out how much contraceptive devices and pills cost. So pills can cost you anywhere from $20 to $50 for a pack of pills. So that could end up costing you $240 or $500 or $600 a year to get pills. Then if you get devices, some devices cost $800 a piece. Others cost over $1,000. So most of the devices will come out to $1,000 or more. And I'm not sure how long these devices last, etc. So the costs are fairly expensive, and I imagine that if you're a student and you're not really working, you're working hard. So this is a financial burden. It's also a financial burden on those who are in the lower income levels of our society. And one could argue that they probably need to take better care, but, people are people and they have urges, so we can't stop people from having intercourse. But a pack of condoms costs $5 at CVS, and they often have sales. So that's also an option, to have a pack of condoms available whenever you're ready to go into action. But that's as much as I know about the cost of these things. But let me talk to you about the organizations that are against it and why I might change my mind. The Little Sisters of the Poor an order of Roman Catholic nuns, and the Trump administration were, I guess, the plaintiffs in this suit. And so they won. Now, the decision that has been handed down by the court gives the government the authority to create religious and moral objections to the way we live. Now, this is a country that was built on the fact that there was religious freedom in this country, but religion had no place in government. But now the court, with this decision, has changed some of that ruling, and that's upsetting. I know that the Trump administration has long been an enemy of Obamacare, trying to overturn it with a better plan, which none of us has seen so far. In my mind, it's a clear violation of the tenet separation of church and state. There were many religious organizations that got waivers from this particular rule under Obamacare, Notre Dame University being one of them. So I don't know why, if there was religious waivers and moral obligations that were given waivers, why they had to do away with this section of Obamacare. Meanwhile, if I look at this more closely, I feel it just plays further into the hands of Trump and his base. So this ruling just throws this problem into the hands of the employers where it probably belonged in the first place. So employers who have a sense of humanity will continue to offer this caveat in their health insurance plans, and those who can't afford it or feel it's not necessary or have religious or moral objections to it won't offer it. And then people will have the choice of whether or not they want to work for a company that offers this particular feature in their healthcare plan or not. So I leave you with that dilemma this morning, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.